Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we meticulously unpack the most significant and often dramatic developments concerning the British royal family. Today, we delve deep into a situation that is quickly escalating from a private family dispute into a full-blown public relations crisis, threatening to engulf the monarchy at a crucial time. We are, of course, discussing the intensifying pressure on Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, to vacate his sprawling 30-room residence, the historic Royal Lodge. But more importantly, we are examining the decisive and strategic actions now being taken by the Prince and Princess of Wales, William and Kate, as they seek to contain the fallout from this deeply damaging affair. It appears the future King and Queen are expediting efforts to ease the palpable tension surrounding Andrew, whose ongoing nightmare is now severely impacting the perception of the entire royal firm, particularly following the recent release of a so-called bombshell book that has further ignited public scrutiny. Before we fully immerse ourselves in the intricate details of this royal dilemma, a quick yet important request. If you appreciate our detailed analysis and want to stay informed about the unfolding narrative of the House of Windsor, do remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support ensures we can continue to bring you these in-depth reports. Shouts. The unraveling crisis at Royal Lodge. The Royal Lodge is not merely a house. It is a magnificent historic estate situated within the Windsor Great Park, a residence of considerable grandeur and significance. For years, it has been the sanctuary of Prince Andrew and his former wife, Sarah Ferguson. However, this sanctuary has now become the epicenter of a highly visible and vocal public revolt. The calls for Prince Andrew to relinquish his hold on the property are growing louder by the day, fueled by reports of staggering financial irregularities and a sense of profound injustice among the British populace. The core of this financial scandal revolves around the Duke's tenancy agreement with the Crown Estate. Reports have surfaced, generating tremendous outrage, alleging that the royal has barely fulfilled his financial obligations concerning the residence for more than 2 decades. To maintain a property of this immense scale, a 30-room mansion requiring substantial upkeep, without consistent and adequate rental payments, has become a symbol of royal privilege gone unchecked, especially in a time of widespread economic hardship. The indignation is no longer confined to the pages of newspapers or social media commentary. We are now seeing tangible, physical manifestations of this anger. Protests have begun to erupt in the vicinity of Windsor, directly targeting the Duke and his continued occupation of the lodge. These demonstrations utilize megaphones, with protesters audibly demanding that Andrew surrender the property. This unprecedented level of localized protest is turning the serene surroundings of Windsor into something far more volatile. The political hammer falls. Crucially, the scandal has leaped from the realm of celebrity gossip and royal commentary into the serious arena of national politics. The situation is so dire that the UK's Prime Minister has now publicly thrown their support behind calls for a parliamentary select committee to launch a formal investigation. The objective of this probe would be to meticulously examine the Duke of York's specific arrangement with the Crown Estate regarding Royal Lodge. This is a profoundly significant development. When the head of the government backs an inquiry into the financial dealings of a senior royal, it signifies that the matter has moved beyond internal palace management and has become a genuine matter of public and constitutional interest. A parliamentary select committee has the power to scrutinize documents, call witnesses, and report publicly on its findings, potentially exposing the precise details of how the lease was negotiated and managed over the last 20 years. For the monarchy, facing such intense political scrutiny is deeply uncomfortable and highly destabilizing. King Charles's impossible dilemma. This escalating public and political fury places King Charles III in an extremely precarious position. As the monarch, he is the ultimate custodian of the crown's reputation and finances, yet he is constrained by the bonds of family. The public outrage against his younger brother, the Duke of York, is persistently heating up, demanding decisive action. The king is undoubtedly in a terrible fix. On one hand, he recognizes the necessity of Andrew leaving the lavish royal residence as a gesture of goodwill toward the public. Such a move would be seen as a sign that the new monarch is serious about modernizing the institution, prioritizing public trust, and drawing a firm line under the scandals of the past. It would be a powerful, symbolic act aimed at dampening the flames of public resentment. However, King Charles is also acutely aware of the potential hazards of a forceful evacuation. The memory of Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, exiting the firm is still fresh and painful. Any forced removal of Prince Andrew, particularly if it appears punitive or aggressive, risks creating new, unwanted internal problems for the monarchy. It could potentially provoke another high-profile royal rift, one that would be exploited by critics and further distract from the core work of the institution. The king must balance the need for public reconciliation with the desire to prevent further family fragmentation, a task that appears nearly impossible. The specter of a cast-iron agreement. Adding layers of complexity to this already tangled web is the legal obstacle facing the king. Some experts and seasoned royal commentators speculate that the royal family could face yet another potential rebel within the ranks, primarily because it appears that forcing Andrew out of Royal Lodge would prove extraordinarily difficult due to what has been described as a cast-iron agreement. This term refers to the apparently robust and legally binding nature of the Duke's lease arrangement. If the agreement truly is ironclad, attempting to legally void it could lead to protracted, costly, and embarrassing legal battles played out in the public sphere. The Duke, facing the loss of his beloved home, might feel compelled to fight the eviction, potentially revealing details about the royal family's private finances and internal dealings that the palace would desperately wish to keep concealed. This fear of litigation and further exposure is a powerful deterrent to aggressive action. William and Kate intervene, clearing the circus. It is within this cauldron of public anger, political pressure, and legal complexity that Prince William and Kate Middleton, the Prince and Princess of Wales, have stepped up, devising a strategic approach aimed at quelling the unrest. They are intensely focused on stabilizing the situation, not just for the immediate benefit of the monarchy, but for the long-term stability that William will eventually inherit. Royal author Phil Dampier, a well-respected voice in royal commentary, has shed light on the intense discomfort within the Wales household. Dampier recently revealed that King Charles is indeed determined for his younger brother to relocate elsewhere. Crucially, Dampier noted that William and Kate harbor a profound fear that the area immediately surrounding Royal Lodge and Windsor itself may rapidly devolve into an intolerable circus if Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson are allowed to remain indefinitely. Dampier articulated the atmosphere of escalating chaos, noting the physical presence of discontent. There are actually protesters outside the house, Royal Lodge, with megaphones, shouting that Andrew should leave his home. He stressed the negative impact this is having on the royal image. It's all turning into a bit of a circus, and I'm sure William would just like to see the back of it, to be honest. This sentiment underscores a deeper strategic calculation on the part of the future king. William, known for his pragmatic approach and focus on the future strength of the monarchy, sees Andrew's continued presence as a corrosive element. Dampier suggests that William's patience is wearing thin, despite maintaining a respectful public distance from the issue. I think behind the scenes, he would like to take a much firmer line with his uncle, and feels that he's doing untold damage to the monarchy, Dampier elaborated. The imperative for a clean slate. This brings us to the most significant element of William's calculated strategy, the imperative to achieve a decisive resolution before he ascends the throne. The royal expert went on to claim that Prince William would very much like this whole mess to be cleared up, one way or the other, and a real line to be drawn under it before he becomes king. This statement is the key to understanding the current urgency. William and Kate are not merely concerned with the optics of the present day, they are planning for the future reign. When William eventually becomes king, he needs the institution to be as stable, credible, and free from inherited scandals as possible. The presence of Prince Andrew, embroiled in decades-old financial controversies and associated with deeply damaging public allegations, represents a fundamental vulnerability that William cannot afford to carry into his own era. The Prince of Wales recognizes that drawing a real line means achieving a permanent solution, not a temporary reprieve. This requires either negotiating a definitive exit from Royal Lodge or somehow rendering the cast-iron agreement null and void, ideally without the embarrassment of a public court battle. For William and Kate, the priority is institution over individual. They are witnessing the damage being inflicted daily. The disruption caused by the protests, the involvement of the Prime Minister, and the constant narrative that the royal family protects its own, even at the expense of public decency. Their strategy must therefore focus on facilitating a dignified, yet firm, relocation for Andrew, ensuring the narrative of scandal is finally put to rest. The fear of the circus is multifaceted. It includes the daily annoyance of the protests, but also the broader media frenzy that makes serious constitutional duties difficult to conduct. William and Kate, as the working royals most focused on public service and modernizing the crown, view Andrew's situation as a massive anchor, dragging down their efforts. Furthermore, Andrew's situation provides constant fodder for those who seek to criticize the monarchy's structure and funding. By allowing the issue to fester, the Waleses risk legitimizing the arguments of Republicans and damaging the public's emotional connection to the crown, a connection that is vital for the monarchy's survival in the first century. Navigating the exit. The path forward for King Charles and Prince William is fraught with difficulty. They must find a way to honor the legal agreement Andrew holds, yet simultaneously satisfy the overwhelming public demand for his removal from the lavish, public-funded estate. One potential solution involves offering Prince Andrew an alternative, smaller, less visible residence, perhaps elsewhere on the Windsor estate, such as Frogmore Cottage, a property previously occupied by Harry and Meghan. This would be framed as a compassionate compromise, allowing Andrew to remain close to the family while ending the public spectacle at Royal Lodge. However, Andrew is reportedly deeply resistant to leaving his current home, making negotiation extremely challenging. The ultimate goal for William and Kate is swift and silent resolution. They want the headlines to shift away from financial scandals and privileged housing and back toward the positive work of the monarchy. Their involvement signifies a new phase in the saga, a move from internal deliberation to active, high-stakes crisis management designed by the future king himself. Conclusion. The line in the sand. The current situation surrounding Prince Andrew and Royal Lodge is undeniably one of the most significant challenges facing the newly established reign of King Charles III, serving as a critical litmus test for the future direction of the monarchy. The persistent public outrage, amplified by political pressure and physical protests near Windsor, demands a decisive response. Prince William and Kate Middleton have clearly drawn a line in the sand. They recognize that the financial and public relations damage being caused by the Duke of York's continued occupancy of the 30-room mansion is unsustainable. They are actively strategizing to ensure that this mess is cleared up, and that a permanent, unambiguous resolution is reached before William's eventual accession. The urgency is palpable, driven by the need to stabilize the institution and prevent the monarchy from being perpetually defined by the scandals of the past. The challenge remains the legal hurdle of the cast iron agreement and the delicacy required to avoid creating yet another damaging family rift, reminiscent of the fallout from the departure of Harry and Meghan. The coming months will reveal whether the strategic pressure applied by the Prince and Princess of Wales will be enough to finally compel Prince Andrew to relinquish his hold on Royal Lodge and allow the royal family to move forward. We want to hear from you, our dedicated viewers. Given the political scrutiny and the demands for a parliamentary probe, do you believe King Charles and Prince William should risk a forceful eviction of Prince Andrew? Or should they prioritize a negotiated settlement, even if it takes longer? What are your thoughts on William and Kate's fear that Royal Lodge is turning into an irreversible circus? Please share your opinions and perspectives in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more detailed royal analysis, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next update on this developing story. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to reading your comments.